What's up, y'all? So I'm gonna make sure I put this on YouTube. This might go on Odyssey as well, or any other alternative that I am uploading these videos on. But I made this one specifically for YouTube. Not that the other platforms shouldn't know about this, or people on those platforms shouldn't know about this information. But I'm not worried about Odyssey doing what YouTube has done to me, and to other people on this platform. This platform being YouTube. Um, but if it gets to that point, then sure, they're going to get this message as well, or they should take heed of this message. And I'm going to be talking about Section 230 once again. Um, you know, um, for those who are watching on YouTube, the first time I talked about Section 230 was when Donald Trump brought it up and how he wanted to repeal it simply because he didn't like the fact that Twitter and Facebook and pretty much those were the two main social media platforms that were correcting his fake news and either silencing him in a way of making sure his posts were not seen, or deleting his post, or doing what Twitter did and have a warning sign and basically saying this man is lying. And he didn't like that, so he wanted to repeal Section 230, therefore holding these tech companies accountable for doing something like that. But it was more so of an attack. It had nothing to do with him disagreeing with the move that they did. Well, he did disagree with the move that they did because they did it to him. But if they would have done to anyone else, he wouldn't have cared. So it had nothing to do with him actually being against the exact move. It was just him trying to get payback because he felt personally attacked for the lies for being called out of the lies that he was spewing. So I talked about it then, and I'm going to talk about it now because there is a section of Section 230, or at least part of it, although one can argue that it is primarily made to protect these tech companies from being looked at as publishers. And because they are not publishers, they are not held liable for something you, or anybody else says on their platform that might be deemed as wrong, false, inflammatory, flagrant, lewd, whatever. Whatever, negative word, adjective you want to place on things that I say and things that other people say. They are not held accountable for that. And that's great. But within that same breath, and what they are conveniently, they meaning these tech companies, the Twitters, the YouTubes, the Facebook, what they are conveniently leaving out, which is the other part of that, is since they are not publishers, they cannot operate like a publisher. Meaning that if a publisher saw something, somebody posts something on their publication, and they're like, yeah, we don't like that, we're taking it down. Publishers have every right to do that. Somehow YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and all these other brands are finding loopholes, if they're even finding loopholes, to get away with acting as a publisher without being a publisher. That's like you and me or anybody being able to get away with, I don't know, if we're not police officers, right? But we're able to get away with things like police officers can get away with, like killing unarmed black people. If we were able to get away with that, and then people was like, he should be held accountable, and I'm like, yeah, treat me like a police officer. But you're not a police officer. But treat me like a police officer, and just suspend me with pay. And that was the punishment that you got for killing an unarmed black person. You know, you just got suspended with pay. Even though you're not a police officer, you're still getting paid, and you're suspended from a job that you don't have. You're getting paid to do, or you're getting paid suspension leave from a job you don't have, and getting paid from a job you don't have. That's how crazy the analogy is, yes, but that's how crazy it is with YouTube and Facebook primarily. Twitter as well. But I'm blaming you. I'm saying YouTube and Facebook primarily because those are the big ones that I've seen censoring folks. You know, my bout with YouTube. A lot of people have been demonetized on Facebook, and Facebook is on this whole idea of we're getting rid of political talk and this, that, and the third. You know, stuff like that. They're conveniently, like I said, let me read this quote. No provider or user of any interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. What that pretty much means is what I was saying. If you say something that is crazy, like just buck wild crazy on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Odyssey, wherever, right? They cannot be held responsible for your buck wild crazy stance, right? But in the same light, they don't necessarily have the right to dictate what is buck wild crazy unless it's obviously something that is against the law. Why this is a big issue to myself and to other not only free speech activists, but progressives out there, especially, is because they're saying that a lot. They meaning YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. They're saying that the stuff that we say, the opinions that we put out, or the news that we share, even though it's actual factual news, is fake news. And then they're acting as a publisher and saying we don't want this on our platform, and therefore, boom, you're no longer to make money here. You're no longer to post here. This, that, and the third. Or they'll do things to your account to make it super slow to post. I'm going through my main Twitter account. I can't post a goddamn thing there. Well, I can, but for some reason, when I post, it doesn't even have to be a political link. It could be any link to something or whatever. And I've tested it out because I have other Twitter accounts. I have Twitter accounts for my podcasts, and I have a Twitter account for simply just my love of video games and talking about gaming. Whenever I post links there on those avenues, it's smooth. My Twitter experience is smooth. But on my main account, where I am sharing my thoughts about politics, where I am sharing information that they may not want the public to know, it's all of a sudden kind of hard to, get that tweet off, Anyways, that's for another story for another time. Let's stick to the topic at hand. I just think it's really, really, really funny. And we're going to see this within the coming days of how they treat this Section 230 stuff. Joe Biden, he is pretty much, he's not being as vocal about it as Donald Trump, but he pretty much takes the same stance. He's claiming that he wants to repeal it because he wants fake news to pretty much be, not be in existence. And that sounds all good and everything, but when they say this stuff, they don't really mean that they care about fake news. You know what I'm saying? Like what they're saying is they don't want information, the truth that they don't want to be out there. They don't want it to be out there. YouTube, you can feel however you want to feel about it. Take it down this video, strike me, whatever the fuck you gonna do. This is the truth. Joe Biden don't want the information about Hunter Biden and all this other shady shit he got going on to be out there. So he's going to label it fake news. Just as much as Donald Trump didn't want his shady tactics to be out there. So then he was trying to hold Twitter accountable, simply because somebody else posted it. It wasn't like Jack Dorsey himself was like, hey, check out this information from Trump. It wasn't like Jack Dorsey. We know he did the complete opposite. He and Zuckerberg and all the others did the complete opposite. Trump's taxes was exposed with ease. Hunter Biden's situation was suppressed with ease by Jack Dorsey, Mark Zuckerberg, all the others. But I say that, I bring that up because it's not Jack Dorsey, it's not Zuckerberg, it's not all the other, it's not the Mr. Reddit, whatever his name is. It's not these guys actually posting this information themselves. It's people who use these platforms who believe that information should be out there, posting the information themselves. And that's why they want to hide it. So, this is a weird situation. And, the future of social media is coming to a point now where we're going to need platforms like Odyssey. We're going to need platforms that are actually about free speech. I'm not saying that there should not be regulation on these platforms. Yeah, there should be regulation. We don't want fucking zoos. And trust me, I've been on platforms, free speech platforms, that are ran like out of control zoos, where people are just saying all the racist shit, mean shit, child pornography, and all this other crazy shit, and they don't get regulated. Hell no, I don't want to be a part of any platform like that. But I also don't want to be a part of a platform that is going to suppress the actual truth because the mainstream media is not reporting on it, or because some politician is coming down on them and saying, we don't want this information out to be put out there. I don't want to be on a platform like that either. So I'm going with the ones who are advocates of free speech, but they know what not to have on a website platform. And they also allow freedom of speech. That's all I gotta say about it. I'm tired. I didn't record a string of videos tonight. If you're watching this, you're like, he's wearing the same shirt in the last 50 videos. It's because I did like 50 videos all in this one night. So I'm gonna head to sleep. Until next time, until next video, you see me when you see me, if I'm even still on YouTube. Peace out.